Hello everyone, so we have new updates from the experiment, and I'm gonna just of course like flash you the sheet that we've already had. So in this particular week we've gone over Instinct Raw, Nulo, Nutro, Nacho, Halo, and Tiki Cat for about like most of Tiki Cat though. So I wanted to kind of quickly go through it because so far a lot of it is going to be pretty self-explanatory. You can kind of see it on the sheet, which is going to be linked down below and also flash on the screen. So with Instinct Raw specifically, they all liked it. Dawn, of course, is a little bit more picky in general, and you'll see that with Instinct Raw, Nulo, and Nutro that she's a little bit picky. However, I think I'm able to finally conclude that she likes salmon. Like Dawn specifically likes salmon. What we did with Instinct Raw specifically was that she actually ate and finished all of the specific ingredients of Instinct Raw. So that's a good thing because Instinct Raw is good. I marked it as green preliminarily and also as my final conclusion because it is primarily made of animal protein and mix of animal parts. So you're getting mostly animal protein. It's not from like plants or anything like that. Nulo specifically is actually more expensive than Instinct Raw. So I think I might not actually go with it, but I still marked it as green because it is high in protein and mix of animal parts. The only one that she didn't really like was actually salmon, chicken and salmon, which is interesting because I thought that she liked salmon. But specifically with Nulo, she only like nibbled a little bit. I tried to even top it with dry food. She doesn't really, but I have confirmed that she does like salmon. So specifically when it comes to Nutro, on the other hand, I hated the packaging. It's literally like a peeling one. It's so hard to deal with, and it can only be sourced through PetSmart. And in my opinion, I actually just really did not like it, to be honest, because it was just so annoying. Even if the cats like it, which honestly only the chicken one they didn't really like. So in the end, it didn't really matter. I will say though that specifically when it came to Nacho, they liked it. And I actually put dry food on top. She did. Dawn specific. I'm going to mention specifically Dawn because honestly, Dawn and Sora and Charlotte are not really that picky, but she ate most of it for the herring, and she ate most of it as well for the salmon. So that's how honestly, like from all of this, we've been introducing a lot of salmon. I think she really likes salmon, like way more than chicken. She likes turkey as well, so I know that. So we know salmon and turkey are her favorites. Pate as well. Honestly, at this point, it was hard to tell if Sora or Charlotte even liked anything in particular or disliked everything. It kind of seemed like they liked everything. But honestly, I just put this in here. She didn't really like chicken. So I feel like if I were to rank it, I think it would be salmon, turkey, chicken. So I think she is okay with chicken, but it's not her favorite. It's usually when there's something a little bit fishier, she actually likes it a lot more. Again, like I said, Sora and Charlotte a little bit inconclusive. However, the part that's the most interesting is actually Tiki Cat. Tiki Cat, this one is actually the part where you can see the meat that you have in the actual food. All the others were really processed into a pate form where it's like really ground in there. You can smell it, but you can't really see it. Tiki Cat, on the other hand, the first three that we tried were finely minced. So imagine you went to pick up chicken broth and you cut it up really, really, really thinly. And you cut it up even more into like shredded chicken. That's essentially what I had in the can. It was like chicken. It was even the color of chicken, cooked chicken specifically. So it was like a little bit of a whitish meat. While the others were still, even if it was like chicken, it was like a dark brown. And you could smell it. It's like meatier. It's like a pate. It's like a meat patty. But these, you can actually see the chunks of chicken in your food. And they didn't eat it. They didn't really like it. So you can see here. Only Sora ate it. The first time around, he didn't even eat it at all. I had to sprinkle some dry food on top. Then he starts eating it. Then after that, I think he started to realize like, oh, everything here is pretty much the same. I like it. It's chicken. And then we also had wild salmon. So even though I've been trying to do 2 a day, I actually did 4 today on January 21st because I was really trying to get them to eat something. So at least there's some kind of nutrition that they can have. In the end, it was really Sora eating all 4 of them. I did have to use one of my own wellness, complete health, and like put Charlotte and Dawn in a separate room. Dawn still didn't even eat, even when I sprinkled food, like dry food on top. Charlotte, on the other hand, did. So I know it wasn't about appetite because she had appetite for that one. She immediately sniffed these other ones and then walked away. So I know that she just doesn't like it, or I have to entice her. I've even tried putting churu on top. I put trying dry food on top. She can't even eat it. I'm a little bit worried now that if this is how they're going to react to this, how are they going to react to smalls, which is more expensive? But it's okay. It's okay. Maybe I can entice them by then. I even like try to, for the chicken and broth specifically, I even put it in the microwave and warmed it up for 10 seconds. So I guess it was just not enough. Something about it just wasn't enough. It either was maybe the texture of the finely minced, but we also did try the chicken recipe and chicken broth pate, and they still didn't like it. So I honestly don't understand what's going on here. I was hoping that they at least would like some of the Tiki Cat, but so far all 4 of them, only Sora liked it. Charlotte and Dawn not so much. So that's pretty much like what we've gone through so far. Honestly, I'm not entirely that shocked. I was only shocked about the fact that they didn't like anything from Tiki Cat. I mean, I'm not shocked about Sora. I was a little bit shocked that Charlotte didn't eat any of it. So I don't know what's going on with this. Like there was chicken in there was salmon in there, so it's not necessarily flavor. It wasn't necessarily the texture, because finely minced and pate, both Dawn and Charlotte did not really eat it. So I'm like wondering if it's an ingredient in there, because it does have like a sunflower oil in it, or if it's just the color, because the consistency and the smell is a little bit different. This tastes like if you just had chicken chopped up and you put in a soup. That's literally what it smelled like. Versus if you had cat food, you literally smell it, you know it's cat food. You don't think it's you don't think it's human food. So something about it, I don't know what's going on, but they didn't really like Tiki Cat. We are going to try 2 more of the Tiki Cat chicken and quail egg in chicken broth and chicken and duck recipe in chicken broth. But other than that, that's all we have really for Tiki Cat. And then honestly, like just judging how it's going, I may go faster. Like for example, today we had like 4 cans in one day. It might even wrap up a lot faster, so we might be able to go through Cat Person and Weruva and maybe Rawz by next week. You'll notice like I actually removed the black lines that were separating the weeks, just because it got annoying each time I found out the cats weren't eating anything. So I'm trying to prioritize. Okay, I'm going to put the next one out there. If they don't eat it, then I'll put the next one out there. I'm going to do a limit of 4 per day. If they really don't eat that, then for the sake of nutrition, I'm going to take out one of my own wet fib cans and feed at least like those that didn't really eat it previously. But in this case, Sora ate all 4 of them. He, because of the texture of the finely minced and it wasn't pate, he didn't really pick up all the pieces. So the first one, not touched. It was just like a tiny little smidge. Second, third, and fourth one, he ate a little bit, most of it, but it was just hard to get into the crevices because we still use a slow feeding mat, but we didn't really do that either. Well, the one piece that I did want to show here, and it wasn't on here the last time we had this video, I put in Halo. So we have these cat sitting clients of ours that have a giant can, and each meal is 1/4. So at this point, last day that they were here, and only half of it was eaten. So I'm like, I'm not gonna throw this out. So I just threw in Halo in there. There's chicken in there. There's pate. In this case, Sora and Charlotte liked it. Dawn didn't really eat it, even when I sprinkled dry food on it. So something about it. Maybe it's the chicken. Maybe it's not. But maybe she's gotten spoiled with the salmon and the turkey and I don't even think I've had tuna yet. Yeah, I don't think I've had tuna yet, but she's been spoiled so far, maybe. Or maybe she just wasn't that hungry, but I kept their dry food the same exact way. At this point, there's 2-3 bags that are actually in their machines right now. So the very first one is Rawz. I think at this point, all of the Rawz is done. All the dry food has been eaten whenever it's been dispensed. Then the second one that we have is Essence, which the entire bag is now currently in their machines. And then Origin is the one that I've been topping off with. There's still a little bit here and there. So the only dry food left that I really have now is Origin and Open Farm. Open Farm I've been using to actually try to put on top of Dawn's food. She doesn't really like it anymore. So something about it, maybe she's just kind of sick of it. I put Origin on top. She doesn't really like it. She only likes Essence. So at least I know Dr. Elsie's and Essence is good. So I ended up giving that one bag that I had that was opened by the Chewy delivery. I gave that to a colleague of mine. And I have a new bag for Dr. Elsie's Clean Protein. So I actually left that alone for now. It's just sitting there for storage for when I need it, when I'm actually going to be using it. Because I do have another Chewy package that will be coming in. I believe it will be coming in 2 weeks or so. So you won't even see it by that time. But I may, depending on how I feel, like depending on how well they're doing with their food, I even push up the delivery, because at this point, there might be some food that they just won't eat and it will be ahead of schedule. So at this point, the package should be arriving in 2 weeks or so. So I might actually push it up 1 week just for that flexibility. And then while we go through that, we will be able to at least have a sense of the types of flavors of the dry food, because now we know we're going to do Dr. Elsie's Clean Protein. It's just a matter of which flavor. So in this case, let me actually pull it up before I can say anything. But what I have here on Chewy is that for our next auto ship order, which I'll tell you everything that we're going to be having here. These are all the flavors that we have for Dr. Elsie's dry food. Chicken, duck, rabbit, salmon, turkey. So we essentially got everything except for chicken, because I already have that giant bag of chicken, which is a safe option. But what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to have like all the bowls right there. I'm going to have the bags all in front of it with all the flavors. I'm going to see what they prefer. I'm going to do one cat at a time, so it's not like they get bumped out. So essentially, I'm trying all of the Dr. Elsie's wet food, except for whitefish. And I don't have pork as well. And there is like a duck and duck turkey and pork and turkey. So what I'm doing is specifically duck and turkey. I'm not even doing the duck and turkey, and I'm not even doing the whitefish or pork. So it's going to be pretty clean in that kind of way, but I may or may not add pork later on in the future. It depends on what I've noticed. Like, for example, when we have Smalls, we'll be able to see if she likes pork, but it's only one. So honestly, I would prefer that they don't have pork, because it just feels a little bit weird for a cat to eat pork, you know? I am born in the year of the pig. Okay, that's not really the main reasoning, but I was just like, in the wild, will they eat a pork? No, they wouldn't eat a pig. But yeah, that's pretty much all we have for the auto ship. I did add a new auto ship though for treats and litter. So I am actually adding Origin freeze-dried treats. So I did previously have Vital Essentials, but with what's going on with the bird flu, I did not want to mess with it. At least with Origin, I know that they've been previously cooked. So with Origin, I have the 6 fish dry cat treats, the original grain-free free-dried cat treats, the Tundra grain-free, and the regional red. So I wanted to do these as, like, let's say for example, once we're done with all these dry foods and all these wet foods, if Dawn is still picky, at least I'll put a dry treat or freeze-dried raw treat on top, and then maybe she'll like it that way. I am also experimenting litter on the side. That will probably be a separate video of its own, but that's a very slow kind of experiment right now. To be able to even tell you like what I think about it, but I'm actually not, it's not like wet food or dry food where I could just like pour food in there and see what they like. Like the litter is literally like a long-term kind of thing. So maybe down the line. So let me know down below what you thought about this. I actually was kind of still surprised that like I was hoping that they like Tiki Cat, and I'm a little bit worried because Smalls is very similar to Tiki Cat in that kind of way where it's like actual chunks of the food is in there. So I'm like, did I spend all this money for Smalls for nothing? But it would be good to know that if they don't like Smalls, at least I have all these other options. Like Instinct Raw could be one. So far it's like the only green one that I have tried. Nulo is the other one, but just based off of this, I feel like Instinct Raw might be better. It's cheaper as well. So just like let me know down below what you think. I added a few. I think like for the dry food, I have come to a final conclusion that I'm just going to do Dr. Elsie's Clean Protein. Like I want something that's not that high in carbohydrates so we don't have issues in the future in obesity or diabetes in general. And then the wet food, of course, I'm going to be supplementing it. I'm still not entirely sure if I want to do like 1 can a day or 2 cans a day. It really depends on how they take it, because so far I've noticed, and I think it could also be the supplements that I'm providing. Their coats are better, their breaths are better, their poops are better. And honestly, I'm not entirely sure because I put in supplements, and then this means like they get double supplements by doing the wet food. Oh yeah, also about the same time, like for the Tiki Cat, those 4 cans, I gave supplements the first time around, then I just stopped doing it because I'm like, I don't even know if you're gonna eat it. So now I'm a little bit, I might actually hold off on the wet food, on the supplements, because I don't want to waste the supplements if they're not going to eat it. In this case, Sora literally just ate like 4 cans of supplements, and I'm like, okay, glad that I didn't do that, because otherwise I can't tell, you know? But yeah, so that's where we're at. So maybe the next time we see each other, we will actually be coming over Cat Person and Weruva. They're actually owned by the same company, so you may be able to figure it out from there. I'm excited to cover Cat Person just because it also has high in animal protein, but we'll see from there. I previously had Tiki Cat as green, but I had to mark it as red because the cats just really did not like it, and I'm sorry. Like maybe your cats will like it, but for some reason my cats just don't like it. All right, see you next time. Bye.